Page 46. This is We Wish You a Merry Christmas in a romantic style. And you can see the approximate years. It's just approximate on the years, but that's sort of, it's a different flavor, a different music, a different feel. The harmony's changing a little bit, and the rhythm might be changing up a little bit, getting a little more involved. Let's go through this and see what we got. I see it's 1 page long, treble and bass clef, no sharps or flats in the key signature, so we're either in C major or A minor. If I look at the last measure, it's here. It's a C chord, I figure we're in C major. However, I'm still going to do the scales and arpeggios for the key signature, so I'm going to do the C major and A minor stuff. Just make sure I got them. And then we're back to 3/4 time here. Let's take it one hand at a time, make sure we understand what's going on here. Right hand, thumb, and here. So you're sort of in this position to start. 3, 1, and 2, and 3, and 1. Whoops, what's this? This is measure 4. 1 E and a 2 is what it is. And I'm flexing at the wrist here. Bump, 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 bump. Don't use the arm on that. Just bump, bump. Now, measure 8. Then what you hear? No. I want to go in this position. I'm here already. I just got to reach out and use 2 and 5. Here. And then up here. Reach out. And here. That's okay. There's other fingerings I could offer, but this is fine. And then just reach, lift up and come down. It's just there's no rest, just like taking a breath. Well, here, except now you're going to move here. And then the chord, but now it's an A minor. Measure 13, they don't need the natural sign there. It's a natural anyway, but they're being clear. Because you just had a sharp, they want to make sure, remember to play a natural here. And then triplets, well, isn't this wonderful? This is measure 14. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and we got to be able to count back and forth between duple and triple anyway. And this is what we're doing here. 1 and 2 and 3. So those 4 notes, the triplet and the note after are all even. Bum, 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 bum. And this is measure 15 here. I don't want to end up on 3rd finger because at measure 16 I got to go to here. I don't want to do that. I want to end up on thumb. This way I'm in position for measure 16. Here, measure 16, then come down. Same notes, an octave lower. And then we have the chord. This is the chord and its inversion. Well, isn't that lovely? You can get away with moving your hand every time. That's what they're telling you to do. You can do that. Very showy. Oh boy, look at me. I prefer not to move my hand anymore than I have to, so I want to combine some of these. So instead of using 1, 3, 5, I'm going to use the extended position. And that means I'm extending out to the octave, and I'm going to cover 4 notes in one position, because that's actually, well, go to measure 16, starting on this 16th note, you're down here. So I'm going to come to here. This way I can do that one and that one in the same position. I didn't have to move. Then I'm going to come up. I got to do the next one is here. Well, if I'm in this position, I can do those 2 in one hand position. And then I do the next one is here. And then just come up for the last one. So I'm only moving my hand every other time. It's here. I move my hand every other time. This is a more advanced type of fingering, but I would encourage you to give it a try. There's nothing wrong with moving every time if you want. It's just, I find this extended pattern moving comes in handy in a lot of pieces. So think about it. So here I'm in one position here, and then one position here, and then same position an octave higher, and then here. However, that's how I'm going to do it. And measure 17, that's here. That has an 8/8 over it because the notes are written here, but the 8/8 sends it up here. And then you just lift up and come up, down. Yeah, it's tricky. Well, romantic style music usually is. Now, this left hand, we got a mess going on here. You have the C chord in the inversions. You have the C, and then you have this and this. And again, I don't recommend moving like this because I can cover all of those notes in one hand position, except the first one, of course. But here and here, that's the position to 4 on the. So I'm going to go here each time. So it's. I'm only moving once, and then. These chords in the left hand. Now on measure 13 we go into triplets. 1 and a 2 and a 3. And then for measure 15, 5. No, don't use 5 on all those. Bad idea. Let's go with 3. So I do a 4 and a 5. And then you have to do a 5 again. I need another finger. I could have started with 2. If your hand's big enough, you can start with 2. Here, but otherwise 3. I use 5 twice. Here, and that's tied. And then here. Put the hands together. This should be interesting. Well, the first at the beginning is just here. Get your right hand where it goes. And here. And here. Here. And here. Hold the left hand down. Try to keep a steady beat of whatever it is. Anyway, you go through and put it all together. On measure 16, we'll start with measure 15 at the pickup. And here. Here. You're holding the left hand down through all that mess. And the fermata, just hang on to that what feels right. If I do it with a metronome, I'll hold it 2 counts instead of 1. I'll just double the value. And then both hands come up here. Last measure, that fermata, I'm going to hold that down however long it feels right. With a metronome, I'll hold the half note down 4 counts instead of 2. The right hand, you just hold it down as long as you got to stay with the left hand. Whatever. Keep the hands together. Anyway, you go through and put the hands together, and then go back through it a few hundred times and get rid of any hesitations. Go as slow as you got to go, doesn't matter, but no hesitations. And then I think about the articulation. And here it's pretty smooth and connected. Here. This tenuto line on measure 5. You see the little line? Hang on to that. Along the... Yeah, just put in the articulation. It's basically connected. Then the dynamics, well, MF at the beginning and mezzo forte. Now, there's different ways of interpreting this. So let's just briefly go over them so you understand what's going on. You can start this out mezzo forte, but when the melody comes in, it takes over the mezzo forte, which means the left hand's got to get soft. So it's like in the second measure, you mezzo forte, soft. Here. Because the right hand's going to take over. Or another way of interpreting it would be, I'm going to start out mezzo forte, but in the second measure I'm going to start gradually getting softer. So in the second measure, mezzo forte, then mezzo piano, and then piano. Each one gets a little softer. This gets ready for the right hand. Whatever, because we want to hear the melody. Now in measure 7, they give you that hairpin, you're going to go up to loud. Not a lot of difference between moderately loud and loud, so careful. You just hit. There, you're up there. So just think about that. Keep the left hand out of the way. Now come down to moderately loud. The left hand's got to be soft. Be hard to do because when you get busy, you tend to go, and you have to keep it in the back. Say, I'm flexing at the wrist, bump, 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 bump. Real little motion, just soft. How soft? Go up to loud. Now they don't give you a loud to measure 16, so take your time on that. That hairpin could go a little further. I wouldn't start crescendoing until measure 15. On the triplets, stay down. Now a little louder. Now loud. Here. And then all of a sudden, moderately soft, and you're going to crescendo up. So it's up to very loud, fortissimo. Then they give you molto ritardando there. Well, that actually helps because that means slow down a lot. So you got a little more time on it. So. And get louder as you do. I didn't get louder, but you that and then loud. Keep the left hand out of the way. Tricky, but then that's romantic music for you. Once I have that, I think about the speed in a grand manner. Well, that's wonderful. So what's a grand manner? I don't know. Just think. Just a nice grand manner, like a processional type thing. Not too fast. You find the hardest part in it, and what can you do there? And you take the whole thing at that speed. Now they've added pedal, which is nice because we really need a lot of overtones, and we need to connect these things. So can't do it with the hands. See, I always learn a piece without pedal first, so I make sure the fingers are doing what they need to do. And then when I add the pedal, I can hear more clearly the effect the pedal is having on the sound. And if I like it, great. If I don't, I'll change it or take it out. The pedal, we're pedaling pretty much everything. Well, it was quite common in the Romantic area. They pedaled a lot, but they over-pedaled. I'd still like to hear the phrasing, but sometimes you can't. You got to connect things, and so you can't have both. A lot of times when we pedal on piano, it's a give and take. I want this, but in order to get that, I have to give up something else. So you have to decide. I would pedal up close to what they're suggesting. It's going to be overlapping pedal. Beginning the notes first, then the pedal. Change it after you play the notes. That's too much. I don't like that. So I think what I'm going to do here is simply lift it up on the third beat. Here. That's fine. I don't have to connect the left hand. That's fine. I'm connecting the right. But that gets rid of a lot of that ugh. So again, starting with the right hand here. And again, measure 6. I can lift up on the third beat and clear that out. Now, as I'm getting louder and more excited, I can tolerate a little more blurriness, like in measure 8 here. Here I might leave it down just because it's really loud. Then on measure 10, I'm going to lift the pedal up with the left hand, and this, I'm not pedaling that. We come down a little bit, so it's. measure 12. If I want to hear the rest, the phrase here, I gotta lift the pedal up with the hand, the right hand. The problem there is I lose all those overtones, and I don't know that I really want to lose the overtones. Listen. You got that, or you got this. See, that you lose all the overtones. So I think I would rather have the overtones, so I may lose the phrasing. I leave the pedal down. And this is too much in measure 13. No. Change this on each beat. Keep the melody clean. Keep that clean. The problem with that is I lose the F. That's a main note. That's an important note. I like to have that throughout the melody, throughout the measure. I like to have that sounding. Well, in that case, I finger pedal it. And I do a lot of finger pedaling, especially in romantic music. It's just a way of holding a note out because you can't use the pedal to do it. So you're going to use the finger to do it for you. So in measure 13 here, I'm simply going to finger pedal that note. I'm going to hold it down for the whole measure. There. That way I've got it. That way I can change the pedal on the beats and I still keep the note. You may think, well, I don't hear any difference. Well, listen more closely because there is a difference, and that's what I'm saying. Listen very carefully to the pedaling and the sounds you're getting, because these little things will make a difference. And then in the next measure, lift up, like taking a breath, and you don't need the pedal to triplets. Together, just let her run because you're getting up to very loud in there, and then lift everything up together. And at the end, lift everything up together. Yeah, that's sort of the pedaling. Listen carefully to the pedaling. Remember, the pedaling indications in the music are all suggestions. In most music it is. There's exceptions. Don't bother me with the exceptions. Just these. Anything I tell you is a suggestion. It's up to you and what you like to hear and how you're going to interpret it as to how you're going to pedal it. Remember the natural exits. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, here. 1, 2, 1. And on these things, make sure the second one is a little louder than the first. Don't go bottom. No, it's ba-bum. It's a hit bounce, and the bounce is louder than the hit. Ba-bum. It is a hit bounce, by the way. But when you do it quick, it's a hit bounce. Ba-bum. But just make sure the bounce is louder. All the way through. Make sure that second one on those dotted rhythms is louder than the 16th note. Couple things. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. You have a retardando there in measure 15. You're going to start slowing down. Now you're going to slow down a lot. Well, when you play this really loud note, careful not to tense up. Stay relaxed. And when you play it, let the wrist collapse a little bit. Don't. There's no banging. No banging allowed. It's just a loud boom. So just boom it, don't bang it. Let the wrist collapse a little bit. And then lift up. They don't give you an off tempo. Odd tempo means resume the speed you were going before you slow down or whatever. They don't give you one here, and we slow down a lot. Well, that's your speed. You stay there. So these last, this is all real slow in here because of that. That molto ritardando zone. It's all real slow. And that last one, make sure the half note's louder than the 16th note. I didn't really keep it real slow. But the idea is that now you've broadened out and you're staying there. Yeah.